And I believe we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Happy Friday. We made it. Another week has come and not quite gone, but it will soon. Whether that's good or bad news, I'm not so sure. Anyway, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. Ooh, that hits the spot. Nice. Nice. Let me clear my throat. Should have done that before I started. Anyway, let me do it again. Welcome to today's English class. My name is Luke. I'll be your teacher for today's class. We have a lot of things to cover, a lot of things to talk about, and I am very excited to do that. Let me just double check something before we kick it off, though, to make sure that we're good to go. Yeah, it looks like we are. 1 second. Oh, I have to watch an ad. Great. Can I watch my own video? Yeah. Oh, magical. All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about a lot of things. We're going to be going over some pronunciation stuff, which I'm certainly excited about. That should be very interesting. We're also going to be going over some useful words and phrases. We'll be talking about that. I want to talk about a little bit about I'ma, gonna, wanna, gotta, and kind of clarify some things around that. And let's see, we're also going to be doing an app review of Duolingo, which you've probably heard of. We'll talk about what it's good for, maybe what it's not so good for, kind of a review of that one. And then if you have questions about grammar, pronunciation, idioms, whatever it may be, feel free to ask those, of course. And that's about it. I'll do my best to answer those questions as you have them. But in the meantime, if you'd like to, I would appreciate hitting the like button and subscribing. That would be most appreciated. Hit the like button, subscribe to support the channel. Just turning the AC down a little bit. And if you really want to start learning seriously, you can check out my courses. Those are in the links in the description. The first of those should be a free course. That's an hour-long course. And then the other ones are not free, but more extensive, more intensive, and more, I would say, comprehensive. Extensive, intensive, and comprehensive. We'll be doing some stuff on the blackboard today as well. Okay. All right, I see we have some people joining already, which is fantastic. Let me just let me also quickly share the link in the various groups that we now have going on. By the way, if you're interested in joining one of the Cloud English communities to practice your English and have conversations and share things and ask me questions on a regular basis, you can do that. The only way currently to do that is to sign up for the yearly membership on the website. That's the only way to get access to that at the moment. It's also the only way to have a one-on-one class with me, which I am also offering. If you want to do a one-on-one evaluation with me, signing up for the yearly membership gets you that. Okay. Pop that in. All right, and another one. And okay. Yep. All right. Louise is here. Hey, good. Welcome from Brazil. I know it's a little later than usual. Usually I try to start at 12, and so I'm a bit late today, and I apologize. I was busy preparing for this, so I need to start maybe preparing the evening before so that I'm not spending most of the morning preparing, and instead we can just hop into it Ideally, I would like to get to 10 a.m. That would be my dream time. Can you do 10, Kathy? How long is your commute? Ah, and you do that every day? Wow. Okay, well, can you get here at 10? Okay. Yeah. Well, that's kind of just an excuse, Kathy. Yeah, all right. We'll get here at 10. No. Get here at 10. We'll start at 10. Maybe not next week, but soon. All right. Kathy's going to get here earlier. That'll be good. I think we can do our first couple of things. I've kind of been making it a tradition recently to what? I've kind of been making it a tradition recently to open up the dictionary and explore a word or find a word that I don't know, just kind of for fun as a way to kick things off. So I'm going to do that actually first. Okay, here we go. 1957, and the deluxe illustrated edition of the New Century Dictionary. And here we go. We're going to go closer to the back this time. For laziness, I've been closer to the front previously. All right. A word I don't know. Almost every single page has a word I don't know, but let's find an interesting one. What the heck is a sea hedgehog? A sea urchin. Okay, that's interesting that they're called sea hedgehogs. That actually makes a lot of sense. All right. Actually, knowing most of these so far, most of these I'm pretty familiar. Okay, we're in the R's now. Reef, reek, re-educate, re-educational, redundant, redundance. Yeah, okay. All good. Redwood, redwater, redevelop. Oh, okay. I thought I had one there for a second. Come on, dictionary. Give me one I don't know. Red-handed. Okay, that's an interesting one, but I know it. Redecorate, redeem, recuperate. Rectitude. Rectilinear. Maybe I know all R words. What the heck? Reannex, reap, reanimate. Realm. Realness, realpolitik, realtor. Okay, so far so good. Oh, so far so bad, actually. The R's are disappointing me here. Rapturously. Ramadan. Oh, who doesn't know that? Rafter. I know every word. Racketail? No. Okay, we're in the Q's now. Gotta have some new Q's. Quiver. Quittance. Quit claim. Quite. Queries. Queasy. Queen. Oh, hey, here's one. Queen. Q-U... it's very heavy. Quean. Quean. Pronounced, I think, either Quen or Queen. I'll look it up in a second. Quena. Okay. A woman or female person. A girl or young woman. Plump and strapping in their teens. Keep in mind, this is from the 1950s. Various disparaging use. Oh, so it might be a negative word. A bold, ill-behaved, or otherwise reprehensible woman. A hussy or jade. The hussy would be sort of like a like slut or something like that, maybe. Oh yeah, there we go. The modern Amazon and Queen of Queens. Byron's Don Juan. A slut. Okay. Slut and queen. Speck of soot upon his band collar. Wait. To call an honest woman slut and queen, or quen, if there be but a speck of soot upon his band collar. So this is definitely out-of-date English, but it seems to be some sort of a negative description of a woman or a girl who, but I'm not sure if it only has that sort of sexual connotation or what. So let's see what the old dictionary has to say about that. Okay. Let's go to the free dictionary. That's a good one. I like to check that one. Let's see. Quean. And how is it pronounced? That's what I want to know.
Queen.
Okay, pronounced the same as Queen. A woman regarded as being disreputable, especially a prostitute. Okay, so it's related to prostitution. All right, well, I didn't know that one. Impudent hussy is, well, that's an old one too. Wow. Oh my God, that's disgusting. Earwax. Interesting. Well, there you have it. There you have it. What does this one mean? I mean, I know it, but inappropriate for some readers. Brazen or promiscuous, saucy or impudent girl or young woman. What would be the male equivalent of that? Shameless or promiscuous. Also negative. Brazen or disreputable. Ah, wow, interesting. Okay. The free dictionary is so cool. I know I talk about it a lot, but they've got idioms. You can look up interesting idioms. You can do all kinds of cool stuff in the free dictionary. You can search words by their beginnings. Here's one I like to use. Actually, I use this pretty frequently. Let me zoom out here. So I have a medical dictionary, of course. You can search, let's say you search the beginning of a word. E-N, okay. And I can then go here and click starts with, right? Wait, no, I want to have to retype it. Okay, starts with E-N. So I want to find anything that starts with E-N. And then it gives me a gigantic list. Enamel. This is an insane number, right? That's so many words that start with en, words and phrases, apparently. And I can also, and this is useful if you write poetry, do rhyming with en. So, for example, if I want to end with en, I can maybe create a poem with en at the end, right? Gladden, grabbin, ridden, laden, maiden, trodden, flodden, hayden. I don't know what these are, but you can find endings. So this is useful if you do, for example, poetry, or for some reason you need to find specific endings of words. You can search like that. So that's pretty cool. Pretty interesting. I love the free dictionary so much. Oh, they also, for the synonyms one, let's say we do, let's go with, and no, that's too specific. Let me do something general, like hungry. All right, let's just do hungry. And we go to, we go to the thesaurus tab, and then we get, excuse me, and then we get synonym bubbles that allow us to kind of explore here. So if I just want to see the adjectives, they're actually all adjectives, I think. Oh, that's below. I can do that. I can go all. But if I'm just exploring here, Okay, hungry is what I searched. Branching out from that, we have starving. And then if we click on starving, we can zoom in on starving and we get famished, hungering, insurient. I don't know what that one is. Hungry, starved, ravenous, ready to eat, faint from what? What is this whole thing here? Excuse me. My voice is a little bit my voice is a little scratchy today. Beg your pardon. Apologies. Okay, so we can go I think back and re-explore these here. Okay, so now let's go with eager. So this hungry is a different kind of hungry, not related to food perhaps, right? So we go to eager. And then we can explore intent, unambitious, impatient, itching, thirsty, zealous, unenthusiastic. These red ones should be antonyms rather than synonyms, right? So they're giving you some clues, things that are connected. And then keen, avid, unenthusiastic, nonchalant, bright-eyed, fervid, zealous, fervent for keen. And then you could jump into the antonyms, which is the opposite meaning, hop into those. And we're now in unenthusiastic. We could look at heartfelt, and then antonyms again: eager, passionate, ardent, blasé, unresponsive, nonchalant, half-arsed, half-assed. Half-arsed would be what? Somewhere in the UK, maybe. Half-hearted. There you go. Pretty cool. And then you can, of course, explore them below. I don't know what. Maybe these are from different locations. Collins. I'm not sure what Rogers is. WordNet. Okay. Anyway, I like it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, again, welcome everybody. If you have questions that you want to ask that you didn't get to ask on Wednesday, we do these every Wednesday and Friday. We might be changing things up a little bit in the next few weeks, but I think we're going to at least stick to Wednesdays and Fridays. We might be changing up what we do on Wednesdays and Fridays. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe. That would be fantastic. Also, feel free to check out the courses and whatever you may have questions about, grammar, idioms, phrases. It's a relaxing Friday, so I'll do my best to answer those. What does it mean, half-assed? So half-assed just means you you didn't try your best. You didn't try hard. Excuse me. I got some itchiness in my throat. My throat just now started to kind of act weird. So let's say if you give someone a task and they do the task and you're not impressed with how they did the task, you can say, this is obviously half-assed. Now, if you say that, that's very direct and it could be regarded as impolite, of course. But if that's how you really feel that it is half-assed, then you can describe it that way. Now, that's very different than saying something like, this is not quite up to my standard. This is not quite good enough. That would be a very gentle or at least much less direct way of saying the same thing. Not quite, it could be better, not quite at the standard I'm looking for. There are many soft and gentle ways to say it. But if you say, don't do a half-assed job, this is obviously very half-assed, or a half-assed approach is sort of like, and sometimes maybe you need to do that. Is it a bad thing to say things directly sometimes? No, sometimes you need to wake somebody up and stop being lazy and try hard, right? So, yeah, that would be how it's usually used. Royalda? Is that Royalda from the Dominican Republic? Welcome, BB. Kishore, my mentor, what's the difference between a standard American accent and an American accent? That's a tough one. It's a really interesting question. So if my voice keeps up like this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep going. My voice is really suddenly scratchy. I was fine all day, and then it's really weird. See how it goes. Um, my mentor, is that me? What's the difference between a standard American accent and an American accent? Well, I think it's important to note that some things don't have a final authority, right? Some things don't have a governing group or board that says this is what it is, right? When it comes to how you define things like a standard accent, you may have more or less reputable people or groups telling you what that is. But there is no central thing that tells you or can tell you what that means, right? You can have countries make laws, and then if you don't follow the laws, then you could be punished, pay a fine, go to jail or whatever. Well, that's defined in law, right? But something like this is not defined. It's kind of a general idea that's out there that people have in their heads. And when we hear it, we kind of know what that means. So I'm going to give that meaning. But I want to make it very clear. And the reason that I said the other thing first is that there isn't a final thing that can tell you what standard American English is, because English is always changing. It's spoken differently by different people, and nobody's in charge. That's what I want to make clear. Okay. Now, what do people mean when they say standard as opposed to just American accent? An American accent is a very general thing. Just generally speaking, how do Americans speak? What is the sounds that they make? What are the sounds that they make compared to, for example, British English speakers or Australian English speakers, right? Well, if you say that, then it's so broad. Are we talking about the South? People have drawn, talk more like this. We talking about the Northeast, where people tend to be a little sharper when they talk? Or the north of the United States, where people talk like they're from Canada? Are we talking about the West Coast, where things are like, a little more chill, a little more laid back? Well, what are we talking about? I don't know. It's just a general term that describes it. Same as British English. If you say British English, British accent, well, the north of England, the south of England are very different. And if you put Scottish in there, well, that's very different, right? So it's hard to say. So when people say accent, they're giving an umbrella term that covers all of it. But when people say standard accent, I like to think of that as news talk. In other words, how does a news anchor in that place speak on the news? And I think that's the closest authority we can get, right? So if you turn on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, pick one, you're getting a broadcast that's going out to essentially all of the United States. And so that way of speaking is meant to be fairly professional, but not too technical, very clear, not overcomplicated, clearly enunciated, not too fast, very well balanced, so that the most people possible are able to understand it, right? That's what it's for. It's meant to communicate what's happening around the world, in the country, to the most possible people, right? So that's what I would usually call standard, or rather, not what I would call standard, because I'm not even sure that exists. I think that's what most people would think of as standard, a standard American English accent. Generally speaking, what you see on the news. And is there only one exact way of doing that? No, not really, but there are some common things that you see. Like, for example, not speaking too quickly. Like, for example, not making too many abbreviations or using too much slang. Like, for example, clearly enunciating most sounds, which make it sound a bit more formal rather than casual. Like, for example, not making too many inside cultural references that some people may know and some people may not know. Okay. Like, for example, did I already say having an interesting intonation that rises and falls to emphasize the right points, right? So there are some common things that make that what it is. But again, there's no authority, there's no person who says what it is, and it changes over time. And that means you can kind of learn it if you are looking at the right examples, but you're learning this thing that's always changing, and you have to just, honestly, you have to just be okay with that. Good question. The rest is history is a good question too. Gate, welcome. How much daily does this? Hey, buddy, how do you have to practice a native speaker? That's a good question. I think I'll get to that one. Is there a way to speak with your friends and family faster than this? Generally, no. My speaking speed is pretty much always like this. People think that I speak faster, but it's not faster. The reason that you might not understand me if I were speaking to close family and friends is that I would be speaking at the same speed, but using many different words and phrases that I'm not using now, and also making a lot of references, cultural references that I'm not making now. I'm gonna do a quick mute so that I can clear my throat. All right, hopefully better. I hope my throat gets better. Why is it feel sore? I don't like that. Need to rest my throat. The way of speaking is based in many connotations and a ton of idioms. Absolutely agree with that. 100%. You are right. First principles. That's a good one. I don't know, BB. I don't like to go to the doctor as soon as I have some tiny minor thing. If there's something serious that's going on for a long time, yeah. Just today, almost when I started streaming, my throat started to feel a little scratchy. So it's not a long enough period of time for me to think I need to go to a doctor. Yeah, I could drink some olive oil or have some tea. I should probably stop drinking coffee. That's probably not helping. It's probably exacerbating. That's a good question, Vitali. I'll get to that one. Gates says, how many minutes do I have to speak daily to talk like a native English speaker? So this is a good question. There was the book from Malcolm Gladwell called, I believe that one was Outliers, where he talks about what it takes. Was it Outliers? One of his books. Might have been Outliers. He talks about generally to master anything, you need to put in 10,000 hours. So 10,000 hours working on something will get you to mastery. Okay, great. That means if I calculate, if I do 10,000 hours divided by, and then I get a daily practice amount, I'll get there. I would say potentially maybe. But with language, it gets a little bit more complicated, right? Because if you do 10,000 hours of, for example, 10,000 hours of doing presentations where you're talking in front of people and they're responding and you can see their live feedback, that's a lot of practice, right? Giving presentations and speaking, and there's real-time feedback, and maybe you record yourself so you're able to watch that back. You're going to get very good, very comfortable with that sort of speaking, right? Okay, well, what about English? If you just sit down in your house and you just talk and talk and talk 6 hours a day, are you going to just automatically get better once those 6 hours a day add up to 10,000 hours? Not necessarily. Now, why not? A couple things. Number one, language gets harder to learn and master as you get older. And there are a couple of different reasons. It's been studied pretty extensively. But babies are masters of learning language, and they pick up the sounds of the language very, very well. From up until the age of 2, you pick up the phonemes of the language, the sounds, and you become native in that language by picking up the correct sounds. Then there's another cutoff, I think it's age 6 or 7, where once you reach that point, if you start after that age, around 6 or 7, it's a little harder to get to the native level, right? And that has something to do with potentially brain elasticity, how flexible your brain is at that age, but also has something to do with the fact that you're maybe starting school at that age and you're getting busier learning other things. Think about what a child between the age of 0 and 2 has to do. Sit around and make noises and eat and poop, and that's about it, and sleep, right? So they have nothing else going on. So they can essentially, they're dedicating all of their time to picking up the language, and the stakes are high. A baby must learn the language natively in order to use it to get things done and develop into a person who can do things in the world, right? So it's a necessity. They have nothing else going on, so they have a lot of time. The brains are very malleable at that age, and so they're kind of geniuses for a lot of different reasons at picking up languages. It gets harder as you get older. By the time you reach the age of 20, 30, there's so many things going on in your life. The necessity is not as intense as when you're a kid because you can get along in your native language. You can speak English already, kind of, sort of, not bad. So it's good enough. You can get along, you can survive and function. So there's not as much pressure. And you have much more stuff going on. And it seems like, and I've seen a lot of different research on it, it seems like your brain is a little bit more locked in a sense, not able to pick up especially new sounds. There are some sounds that you kind of have to learn as a kid or as a baby. So that's one thing. The other component is feedback in real time. This is a big one. If you are a weightlifter and you lift weights by yourself and you do it wrong by yourself all the time and you can't believe you're not building muscles, you have no idea why, except after 6 months you realize I haven't built any muscles, what's going on? And then you start paying attention to how you're doing it and watching some videos, and you give yourself some feedback. Well, if you're just sitting there in your house talking and talking and talking, potentially what you're doing is accomplishing very little because you're not getting feedback from your output. You're speaking and communicating, but nothing is coming back to tell you what you're doing wrong, what to fix, so that you can build better habits. So potentially the problem is that you're building bad habits. You're speaking inaccurately, incorrectly, making a lot of mistakes, and practicing those mistakes 6 hours a day, getting essentially worse because the habits are getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So you have to have a way to get feedback. Now, I advocate developing extreme self-awareness, that you're able to notice what other people are doing, what native English speakers are doing, and be brutally honest with yourself and notice what you're doing that you can fix. That's like having an invisible coach that you build inside your head. If you're radically honest with yourself, brutally honest, and you have that self-awareness to see the difference between what you do and what they're doing. So, and that's just a few things. It's not as simple as 10,000 hours. That's just a number that's out there. Could be more, could be less. Different people are different. I've seen some people improve their English very quickly because they have a natural instinct for it, no fear, the right kind of personality. I've seen some people work at it for 5 years and never improve. Personality type, bad habits, not very open to changing the way that they think, and they just keep working and never get better. So it's not about how many hours, it's the quality of those hours. And the kind of dark secret is not a secret, but your personality too. Personality matters a lot. Some people, I could just walk up to them, talk to them for 5 minutes, and say, you'll never make it." I don't do that because I don't want to crush anybody's dreams. But there are times when I can tell within 5 minutes you're never gonna improve. I can just tell. I just know. I have enough experience. I just know. I never say that though because I don't want to crush dreams. But then there are some people where I can see the potential, how quickly they change, and it's a lot of mindset stuff. So I know this has been a long answer to the question, but it's an interesting topic, and I think the first place to start would be focusing on the quality of the learning, the quality of the practice, making sure those components are built in, then start thinking about how many hours you're going to spend doing it. Merriam-Webster dictionary is fine. Yeah, Merriam-Webster is fine. Dictionary.com is fine. Most of the audio that you hear is fine. You just don't want to have one that has a computer voice. As long as it's a real human voice, that's fine. Stay away from a dictionary that provides you computer voice pronunciation. Stay far, far away because that's not helpful. It doesn't tell you the actual sound. Some of them, I still hear it where it's like a robot voice, feed, and it sounds like that, and that's not what it sounds like. So sometimes they have both the British and American English pronunciation. You can click on both and listen. As long as it has that, you're fine. Shot of lemon and honey, Royalda says. Thank you for that. I'm feeling better. I think I just had to talk through it. I'm feeling a lot better now. But I appreciate all the suggestions. BB, if I understand all your speech, how do I assess my English level? So the best way to assess your English level is to take an assessment that is very accurate. A low-cost one would be maybe something like the Versant, and that's completely automated, but it will give you a general sense of where you are. I've found it to be pretty accurate, to be honest. It's called the Versant. It's by Pearson. I like that one. It's fairly cheap. I think it's $40 or something like that. If you want to get a really accurate one, take the IELTS or the TOEFL. TOEFL is good, but the structure is kind of, and so that can impair your score, even if your English is actually higher, if you're not used to the structure. IELTS will give you a more pure result with no preparation. If you don't want to prepare for it and you just want to know basically where am I right now, the IELTS is probably going to be your best bet. It is kind of expensive, but I think worth it to get a really accurate picture, an accurate snapshot of your speaking, writing, listening, and reading. There are other ones out there. I just think that's the best one because it does rely on conversation. In the exam, the IELTS examiner is trained to ask the right types of questions to get you to speak, and then they're really well trained on how to evaluate the answers that you give in order to give you an accurate picture of where your English is. So I think probably IELTS, maybe TOEFL, and a cheaper version of that might be the Versant, VERSANT test. Aman, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Welcome, welcome, all my Indian pals. I'm going to get up to Vitali's question here. This is a good one. I want to bring up also an example video from, because I think there's a good video for this one, Elon's video. Okay. Vitali says, what does can think from first principles mean? It's a very good question. I'm tempted to answer it myself. I'll give a broad idea, and then I think I'll let Elon Musk explain it, because he's the one who's famous for talking about first principles. Essentially, we often get inside of these little bubbles where what people do is accepted. We just accept the norms and we say, okay, I'm an engineer. I'm going to solve problems the way that my teachers taught me and the person who trained me taught me. And that's how we do things. And sometimes getting into that way of doing it is good because it can make your work efficient, but not so good because it can make you miss the big picture. And if you start from first principles, you have to ask yourself, what basically am I doing here? So in my case, I teach English, and we could get into the detailed stuff. We could talk about the phonemes and get all wrapped up in the symbols of the characters and the grammatical explanations and all of that. Okay. Step back. First principles. What are we doing? I'm trying to help you improve the way that you make sounds with your mouth so that you can influence the world better. That's what I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do. Forget about English even. I'm just trying to help you make better mouth noises so that you are more powerful in the world. That's my mission in life, right? So that's kind of first principles thinking. But let's watch this video by Elon Musk is explaining this. We're gonna hop over to YouTube here. Let's check this out.
And then I think it's also important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. So the normal way that we conduct our lives is we reason by analogy. We're doing this because it's like something else that was done, or it's like what other people are doing.
Me Too type ideas.
Yeah,
Slight
iterations
yeah.
on a theme, and it's kind of mentally easier to reason by analogy rather than from first principles.
He's saying reason by analogy, so you make examples of things. He's saying understand what it is.
But by first principles is kind of a physics way of looking at the world, and what that really means is you kind of boil things down to the most fundamental truths and say, okay, what are we sure is true, or as sure as possible is true, and then reason up from there. That takes a lot more mental energy.
Give me an example of that. Like, what's one thing that you've done that on that you feel has worked for you?
Sure. So somebody could say, in fact people do, that battery packs are really expensive and that's just the way they'll always be, because that's the way they've been in the past. You're like, well, no, that's pretty dumb, because if you applied that reasoning to anything new, then you wouldn't be able to ever get to that new thing.
Right.
It's like you can't say, horses, nobody wants a car because horses are great and we're used to them and they can eat grass and there's lots of grass all over the place, and there's no gasoline that people can buy, so people are never gonna get cars.
Right.
People did say that, and for batteries, they would say, it's going to cost, historically it's cost $600 per kilowatt hour, and so it's not going to be much better than that in the future. And you say, no, okay, well, what are the batteries made of? So first principles would be to say, okay, what are the material constituents of the batteries? What is the spot market value of the material constituents? So you can say, okay, it's got cobalt, nickel, aluminum.
Okay, he's getting a little technical, but I mean the basic idea is really just don't look at history, don't look at the past and how things are done. Understand basically what's going on here without any knowledge, like you're an alien. Look at it like you're an alien from another planet who doesn't know anything. What is basically this? And then start making decisions or understand it. I think that's a good way to look at things. You can't look at it that way all the time, but it can be, I think, very helpful. Why do you show videos from YouTube? We want to learn from you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know. Because sometimes I feel like it adds helpful context. The context is helpful. I like the flavor. I mean, I did give my explanation, and then I wanted to give a reference to Elon's, because I think my understanding comes from Elon's understanding. At least that's where I gained my understanding from. I heard, I think, first principles first from maybe this video or another one, Elon Musk talking about it. So I feel like that's helpful. Okay. Let's get into, speaking of learning from me, let's get into some of that, shall we? I have a topic. It's kind of a grammar topic, kind of not a grammar topic. You'll see what I mean in a second, but let me just get my examples ready here. Okay. Oh, I need my board as well. My board. Oh, my throat is feeling much better. There you go. Don't need to go to the doctor. I'm good. All right. Danish, welcome. Good to see you today as well. Good to have you. Okay. Give me 1 second. You may have heard someone say something that sounds like I'm a go. I'm a go. What is that? You've probably heard it a lot. You may have heard me say it before. I say it pretty often. If you listen carefully, a lot of people, especially in America, say, I'm a. I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that. I'm a. What is this? I'm a. Well, to really understand it and to know whether or not you should use it, when you should use it, how you should use it, I think we need to build up a bit of a foundation. We need to understand contractions, and we need to understand a special type of contraction in particular where we don't have the apostrophe. Now, don't worry about an apostrophe. It's just that little mark you see in words like don't, D-O-N, apostrophe, ding, T. Okay, so we need to understand that idea, and we need to understand gonna, wanna, gotta. Then we can get into I'm a. So we're gonna do that. Let's hop over to the board, and we're going to start this with, I think, words you've heard before. And I am going to call them words, even though they're kind of contractions of several words. Gonna, okay, this might be, and hopefully is review for you. Gonna, wanna, and gotta. Okay. Now, Just so we're clear, so we're on the same page, what's going on with these? Well, these are similar to other contractions like don't, I'm, aren't, and so on. You're familiar with those. These are contractions, except we don't have this little mark here, the apostrophe. What does each of these mean? If we break it out, this is going to, want to, and got to. Now let's just, for review, do a couple of examples, okay? Are you gonna wait for me? Are you gonna wait for me? Are you gonna? Oops, just imagine that's gonna, okay? Are you gonna wait? Well, if I change this to going to, am I changing the meaning at all? Okay, so if I change this to, are you going to wait for me? Is anything different? Not in meaning. The only difference is in maybe how it feels. It's a little less formal. It feels kind of casual. Are you going to wait for me? Are you going to wait for me? And we might emphasize to sometimes. Are you going to wait for me? Maybe if we're upset or something. But I think most of the time people will use gonna. Are you going to wait for me? Instead of are you going to wait? Okay? I don't think it sounds too casual. Again, it's so common that I don't even want to say it's very casual. It's just spoken English, right? You wouldn't write down gonna. You would speak it, and so many people do. Maybe everybody, almost every native English speaker who speaks American English, perhaps. How about want to? We really want to visit Amsterdam. We really wanna go, wanna visit. We really want to visit Amsterdam. We really wanna visit Amsterdam. Any difference? Again, not in meaning, but it might feel a little more casual. But I think it sounds fine. I think it sounds totally natural and fine, and not something that you wouldn't use in a meeting. We wanna talk about this. Could you use that? Business English, presentation scenario, important people, VCs and vice presidents, and you're explaining something. We want to do this instead of we want to do this. It's totally fine. It doesn't sound wrong or bad at all. People have this idea that business English is formal English, very serious, and we never say things like wanna. No, that's spoken versus written, as opposed to formal versus informal, I would say. This is spoken English, okay? All right, and then gotta, we could say we gotta go, we gotta go, and we have got to go is the long version. So actually what we mean when we say we gotta is usually we have got to instead of just we got to. If you want to be grammatically correct, the full version is have got to. So this is kind of hiding an invisible have there. And this is gotta. Okay. Now we've got the foundation. Now we understand that there are these interesting words that are like contractions but are actually just words, or maybe not, and they're usually spoken and not written, and broken out they are made up of more words. Great. Now we get to IMA. Now I've seen this written with a contraction or not. The interesting thing is spelling. How do you spell a thing that's only spoken? I don't know. That's why it has different spellings. Sometimes it's IMMA, sometimes it's I''MMA, sometimes it's I''MA, sometimes it's IMA. I've seen it written different ways. And that's kind of interesting. It tells you that this is a spoken thing. Now, is it very casual? Don't use it because it's too casual. It's slang. You'll sound dumb if you say it. No, people say it all the time. It's the same thing. How about this? Let me write this a little bit higher if that's okay. Oh, I see what I did there? I want to put an apostrophe, and it's fine. I think it's fine. I'm a leave in 20 minutes. Okay. Now here's our sentence. Now, it sounds weird when I enunciate it very clearly. I'm a leave in 20 minutes. That sounds strange. But this is for use in quick talking situations. When you actually have to leave or you're communicating with someone and you want to just get the message across and go. I'm going to leave in 20 minutes. If you listen carefully, they didn't say I'm going to. They said I'm a. Okay. So now what's interesting about this one is it's actually an abbreviation of this. I'm gonna leave in 20 minutes. Now, what's interesting about that? What's interesting about that is that gonna is, what did we say? Going to. So that breaks down into another two words. And then this is also a traditional contraction, which is I am. So we have sort of two levels here. This I'm a leave is saying I'm gonna leave, which is saying I am going to leave. Now, to me, saying I am going to leave makes it sound like I'm some kind of robot who just learned to speak and I have to say every single word and I don't know how to use I do not know how to use contractions because I am a robot. Because I am a robot. Data from Star Trek, he doesn't use contractions. That was part of his programming, didn't allow him to do that. So this sounds way more natural to me. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. I probably use that one most often. But I also use this one. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. If I'm in a hurry, I'm speaking, I use it really often. So just know that these four letters contain this and this whole piece here, and this contains this whole thing here. It's a lot of meaning crunched into something so small. That's the beauty of language. It becomes the sort of thing that's useful, and their branches and spoken and written are different, and that's, I think, pretty cool. So my recommendation is feel free to use this. Just remember that there is a difference between spoken and written. Don't write down IMA in an email. Don't write down IMA in any composition. But if you're communicating with someone, a friend or whatever, in a casual situation and you want to say, I am going to, you can say, I'm gonna, or you can say, I'm a, and it's totally fine. People use it all the time. Let me know if you have any questions about this. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Okay. So hopefully that one was interesting. I think that one's very cool. The way that it works, I think, is quite interesting. Nihat is here. Hello. Classes, most instructors don't teach informal, casual way of speaking. Yeah, I know. Alina, hello, welcome. Clarify words you tell us in the beginning. We don't care about wanna and gonna because they don't pop out in exams. Wow, BB, I've noticed, BB, you have very strict requirements about what a live class should and should not be. Will you come and be my producer and just tell me what to do so that I don't have to use my brain? That would be amazing. You could just come and write the whole thing for me, tell me what I can say and what I can't say. I would be deeply appreciative if you would do that. That way I wouldn't have to think. It'd be amazing. I don't teach English for exams all the time. Sometimes I do, but I also, most of the people that I help are people who need to speak English. So actually, you might not be my target audience here. It's people who want to communicate in spoken English in particular, who I want to communicate to. People who need help speaking clearly, which includes gonna wanna gotta. If you don't like it, get out. Or don't. Up to you. In English language classes, most instructors, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Vitali's got a good question here. I'll get to that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I also want to do an app review today. I want to look at Duolingo. I'm not angry. I'm just saying, I think your requirements of what your expectations might be a little narrow and not quite aligned with what I'm doing here. Why am I rude? I don't know. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to clarify my position. Not trying to be rude. Not trying to be rude. Okay. What's the difference, Vitali says, between taken, busy, and occupied? So actually, taken is in a very specific situation, and busy and occupied belong together, I think, in meaning. So this is an interesting question because I would say one of these things is not like the other, right? If I say I'm taken, that means someone has asked me about my relationship status, romantically, and I've said, essentially, I'm not available for a relationship because I am currently in one already. Well, a simple way to say that is, are you single? No, I'm taken. Taken. Okay. That is something people say. Now, you could also say, are you taken? Then you could say, that's right, I'm taken. I'm not single. Or, I'm single. No, I'm single. Single and taken. Simple words. Almost always related to that sort of dating relationship question, right? I'm trying to think if there's another way to use taken other than that, but that really is the most common and the only one that's coming to mind at the moment. Now, what about busy and occupied? Okay. Now, they mean the same thing. They're synonyms, but with any synonyms, you have this kind of Venn diagram, which means they overlap a lot of the time, but there are times when they don't overlap, perhaps in usage. Maybe one word means or is used in a way that the other word is not used in. Okay. Now, a common example would be signage. For example, bathrooms in airplanes. You will sometimes see the word occupied, not only airplanes, but for porta potties or bathrooms, you'll sometimes see the word occupied, right? And it's red. And then when someone's not in it, then it says, what does it say if it's, I actually can't remember what it says if it's not occupied. But when you see that red and it says occupied, it means there's somebody in there. Now, that could mean there's someone in there and they're busy. But often what it suggests is there's someone in there. This is a thing and there's someone in the thing, right? So there you get into the occupied Venn diagram where it doesn't match with busy. And this is people in a specific enclosed space. A restaurant, for example. If it is very busy, you can say that there are a lot of occupants in this place, in this restaurant, and you sometimes see a sign in the restaurant that says maximum occupancy, 88. 88 means you can't legally have more than 88 people here. Otherwise, it's a fire hazard. If there's a fire, there will be a stampede and people will get crushed. So you have to have a limit of the number of people who can be in here. That's the maximum occupancy. But if someone says she's occupied right now, that's a kind of polite and respectful way of saying, not that there's somebody inside of her, that she has a baby or she is pregnant or something. That's an interesting thought. No, it means that she's busy working on something. Excuse me, is your wife there? No, she's occupied at the moment. That means she's doing something and she cannot come to the phone. She's not available right now. Okay. Now, that would be the same as the traditional meaning of busy. I'm very busy right now. What's the difference, though, in how we use them for busy? Sometimes they're the same. She's busy, she's occupied, exactly the same there. The feeling of occupied might be a little bit more formal, might be a little bit more serious, right? Like an important person is occupied. And if we describe how we are right now, right, we talk about the feeling of it, we might use busy. Right? If I want to focus on the actions or the activities I'm doing, or the fact that I'm not available to others, I might say I'm currently occupied, or I'm occupied at the moment, right? But if I want to focus on what it feels like to be me right now, because I have so many things going on, I want to pull my hair out and I'm stressed and I can't deal with anything because I'm trying to do all this stuff that I have to do. I'm very busy right now. Please don't bother me. I'm very, very busy. I'm kind of focusing on my internal experience. That's the connotation of those two. Although, again, in that situation, a person sitting there doing work, they are busy, they are occupied. Okay. I guess that feels more like outside in, occupied, inside out, busy. But then you get into the other side of the Venn diagram of where to use busy, where you don't use occupied. Well, something like picking up the phone and hearing that's called the busy signal or the busy tone. I think that's what that's called. Or no, the busy one is dun, dun, dun. It's been so long since I've used a physical phone that I don't remember. One of them means that the other person is not available. And so I can't get through. The traffic is not allowing me to connect with them over the phone in 1937. And so we would say it's busy. I can't call them. It's busy. It's busy. You cannot say in that situation it is occupied. So that's a general picture of busy and occupied. Then you get into the phrases. And for the phrases, you can't even try to compare them, right? So if you say to someone, they're a busybody, you can't say they're an occupied body. You're a busybody. This is someone going around doing little tasks, always doing little things that may be unimportant. That busybody is a specific word or phrase, depending on how it's used, that means only that, and it must be busybody, and you can't swap it out. So for phrases in particular or vocabulary words that include those words, occupied, occupancy, and busy, or busied, I suppose, as compound words, if they're included, you can't change them out. So hopefully this gives you a pretty general picture. Again, the best thing to do is go to a website like the Free Dictionary, look at them, look at examples of them, and try to get a feel for not just the meaning, but where they overlap, where they don't overlap, and the connotations that come with each one. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. It's a good one, Vitali. Thank you for asking. Shabazz, hello, welcome. Lots of love from India, lots of love from the United States. Do Americans quickly get angry? I think, I don't know if that is something I can say broadly. There are some Americans who get quickly angry and some who don't, and some people from Ireland who get angry quickly and some who don't, and some from Thailand who get angry easily and some who don't. I think that's more of a human question than an American question. Good evening. Hey, where are you from? Where are you from, NB? If it's evening, it is currently 2:26 p.m. here, so decidedly not evening. wait for, wait on, and await. Ooh, that's a big one. I'm not even sure if that's one that I can answer here because it's, man, let me think about that for a second. Coffee break, coffee time. It's time for coffee time. All right. What I'm increasingly doing during coffee break time, I gotta rest my brain for 2 seconds, is we'll just do share some TikToks. Okay, Francis Bourgeois, my second favorite TikToker. He's a train watcher. He's a train guy. I like him a lot. He's super cool.
This is my favourite locomotive, the Class 37, and I'm about to ride on it on the Worth Valley Railway. Here it is pairing up to the carriages.
Is there traffic ahead or something? Is there...
Hang on.
Jumping up?
Pardon?
You jumping up?
In the cab?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh.
Here we go.
So excited about trains. I love trains so much. Oh, he's with someone else who also has a GoPro. GoPro train watching.
This is my favourite locomotive.
So
I'm about to start up this 60-year-old beast. 37075. It's... and once this starts up, it's going to sound absolutely great.
The distortion of his eyes with his GoPros. It's so stupid. He knows it's stupid. He understands it.
Ready, Ryan?
Yeah. Funny. But I think he's so sincere and pure. I'm personally not that excited about trains.
The centre of the locomotive passes the obscuring tree line. No longer interrupting the sound, it crashes over me, vibrating the air like a mechanical warrior, beating the timpani of train spotting. It's working hard. This is pure thrash. I jump in the air and clasp my hand over my mouth. Class 60 on the empty Marco service is approaching platform 1, whilst the Class 37 is going through the centre UML, lightning through my body. My laughing explodes into a scream. I've never heard such a noise on the railway. I didn't even know that kind of tone was possible in a Class 66. I have written about these moments and adventures in my new book called The Train Spotter's Notebook,
He's got a
where
book.
I go through the ins and outs and the ups and downs of train spotting that I don't show in my videos. I'm really excited to share it in October.
Wow,
You can
check
pre-order
it
it now by
That's a
swiping
good cover. Francis Bourgeois, The Train
up
Spotter's
or clicking
Notebook. I like that. Let me search this. I'm gonna search this. I might buy this. I want to support Francis. The Train Spotter's Notebook. Let's see. It's on Amazon and Audible. Ooh, it's on Audible. Nice. I'll have to check this. I'm going to check this out later. Very cool. Started doing TikTok and got a book deal. Pretty amazing. I like it. Okay, I don't know if I can take on this question because I've thought about it. It's too big. It would take me an hour and a half just to answer it. Honestly. BB says, Luke, is there any connection between TikTok and your lesson? BB, what kind of person are you? It's called a coffee break. Oh my goodness, BB. What is the topic? There is no topic. I'm going through, I have pronunciation coming up, and I'm going to also be talking about Klingon, but let's just, I gotta, BB is such an interesting person. You fascinate me, BB. Fascinating. Okay. Right, back to work, BB. Yes, yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry, so sorry. Why don't you suggest a topic and we discuss it? Can you choose death as a topic? Why don't you suggest a topic and we discuss it? Can you choose death as a topic? Well, death is an interesting topic for sure, but for a discussion, I think we have to be actually talking in person or on video. And next Wednesday, I'll be doing that with Pablo again. If you guys watched the one previously where Pablo and I talked about Borges, we talked about one of his short stories, and we're going to be talking about next Wednesday. We're going to be talking about Sandman. So my suggestion, if you want to engage on next Wednesday, if you want to join and engage next Wednesday, we'll be talking about that show, which is on Netflix. If you have Netflix, and the show is called Sandman, and we're going to be doing a discussion of that show. It will, BB, have nothing to do with English learning. It's going to be a pure discussion. I might bring up a few language points here and there, maybe, but I'm experimenting with just doing a sort of conversation about a show with a cool dude. So we'll see how it goes. The show, let me bring up a picture of the show. Sandman. Let's see if I can. Maybe I could show a preview. I don't know if I can get away with doing that, but Sandman trailer. Okay, I think I might be able to watch a few seconds from it at least. Here we go.
Your waking world is shaped by dreams.
He's the main character. His name is Dream.
Dreams and nightmares that I create.
That's the bad guy.
And
anyway, I don't think I can actually show the whole thing because I might get I don't want to get a copyright claim, so I'm not going to show the whole thing. But anyway, we're going to be talking about that one next Wednesday, so feel free to join for that. It should be interesting. Chama is here. Hello, and Alejandro and Oscar. Great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, BB, sorry, Luke, but I don't understand the relationship between the lesson and Netflix. This is high-level trolling, BB. Every comment gets me. It's so good. It's so good. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about pronunciation. I want to get to an interesting topic. Well, actually, no. I shouldn't say interesting. A boring topic. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I can't read your Korean name, but I do appreciate that. Great to have you. Great to have you join. I unfortunately, very sadly, tragically, am not able to read any Korean, but I wish I could. I really do. We're going to talk about the TH sound. Okay. So, TH. Good question, Vitaly. I'll get to that in a second. I like the question. Because there are a couple of different angles to it. One of the most difficult sounds in spoken English is TH. Now, there's a reason, actually. It's difficult for a lot of English learners because it's not common. In fact, most languages in the world do not include the special sound that is extremely common in spoken English. Now, actually, there are a couple of different pronunciations, and we'll go through those. But the key thing is I want to practice the different TH sounds and show you how you can practice the different TH sounds so that you can actually master them. To master something, you have to practice it a lot, and you have to really develop your self-awareness so that you can hear if you're saying it correctly or not. All right? So let's hop over to the blackboard as we do. And we're going to be talking about how to master TH. Now, you probably know the basic pronunciation of this one, where you take your tongue and you stick it outside of your face and between your teeth, and you blow some air out. Okay, so the basic sound would be something like. Now notice that the air is coming out around my tongue, it's coming out between my teeth, it's coming out between my teeth and my tongue a little bit. Like that. Now, if you don't stick your tongue out, it's not going to sound right. If you say, that sounds like S. If you stick it out too much, it's also not going to sound right. It sounds weird. Okay, it sounds like you're choking or something like that. So the basic sound, tongue between your teeth, like that. And it should be gentle enough so that you can continue it for a few seconds. If you're pushing down too hard on your tongue, then you're going to bite your tongue off potentially, or it's going to sound too sharp, like this. It should be something that you can carry for a long time, like this. It's got to be that soft. Then the extra pronunciation that it has is to simply add your voice. Your voice happens here. So if you want to make a voice sound, just do this and feel the vibration with your fingers. It's called a voiced sound. To make the voiced TH sound, you do exactly the same thing here. Nothing changes at all. The only thing that changes is what happens down here. So, turn this on. And now you should feel an interesting vibration happening between your tongue and your teeth. That has to be there. Otherwise, it's not the correct sound. Very gentle. Again, if it's too hard or too harsh, then it's going to get cut off and it's going to sound like this. So you might also bite your tongue off, but it's going to sound very harsh, very hard. Not good. You don't want that. Bad sound. And so we've got two. Now, TH also makes a hard T sound. We're not going to focus on that one because that's just a T sound. So in words like Thomas, for example, Thomas, it's pronounced T, Thomas. All right, so we don't need to worry about that pronunciation. We're going to be focusing on the voiced and the unvoiced TH sound, doing some examples, and really getting a feeling for it. And as I said, I'm going to show you how to practice it on your own so that you can really master it if you struggle with this sound, which many people do struggle with this sound. It's perhaps one of the biggest issues for a lot of English learners. Okay, so we've got the basic pronunciation down, hopefully. Now we need to look at a few words that include the sounds, but very importantly, in different places, because you do things with your mouth differently depending on where the sound is in the word, right? If it's at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end, it's going to be different for different people and more or less difficult for different people. So let's start with voiced and unvoiced at the beginning. THIS and THING. Now, the reason I choose these two is that this one is voiced and this one is not voiced. So we can practice this at the beginning of the word. So what do we do here? We voice the TH, we voice the I, and we do not voice the S. This. Now, if you do it too hard, it's going to sound like this. Wrong. Too hard. You're pushing down too hard. You have to be able to do it very long. This. We don't do it that long normally, but just as a way to get the feel for it. This. Now, one common mistake here is to pronounce this with a D sound. Big mistake. That sounds like this. Dis. DIS is something you see people text often to replace this, right? This. Okay, but it sounds different and is not the correct TH sound. Then the unvoiced sound, which I've marked with an N, not voiced, is thing. And again, I can carry that on for 10 seconds if I need to. Thing. So unvoiced, voiced. The ing is voiced. Thing. So these two, this thing. Here's what you can do to practice. Choose several words that are difficult for you with the sounds that are difficult for you and put them in different places in the words. We'll go through some middle and end ones in a second. Then go back and forth through the list as quickly as you can, making sure that it's correct every time. If you practice the wrong sound, you're building bad habits. So start slow and then increase speed. This thing. If it's one word, fine. Something is a classic word to practice. Something. That's a good one for the TH sound. Okay. Now, this is for the beginning of the word. What about for the middle? Let's go with father, Father, and mythic, Mythic. Here you can see we have two-syllable words, not three, two-syllable words with the TH sound in the middle. And this one is going to be voiced, and this one is going to be not voiced, okay? Now, fa, F is unvoiced, A is voiced, TH is voiced, and ER is voiced. So only after the F do we have to start the voice, right? The only sound which is not voiced is the F in this one, okay? Now, this one is a little different. It's a little trickier because this is voiced. This is pronounced not like my, but mi. Sometimes Y makes an I sound. And this would be an example. Just like the short I. And then this is unvoiced. If it were voiced, this whole thing would be mithe. No, it's not. We turn the voice off for this one and then turn it back on for the I sound. Then turn it off again for the C sound because that's not voiced. Okay. So it's a little trickier because you have to turn your voice on and off several times. Father. And mythic. Okay? So that's those two with the TH in the middle. Now, one common issue that is very common is yeah, for sure, is to replace the TH sound that's unvoiced in particular with an S sound, right? So we talked about the voice sound sometimes being replaced by D. Fodder in this case sounds weird, but that's not common for the middle of words. And in the middle of words, it's very common to mistake the unvoiced TH sound with an S, which would sound something like missick, which is incorrect. And we don't want to say that. All right. So the last one we have to cover before I tell you what to do going forward is TH at the end. Okay, so we now have SOOTH and wait a minute, do I want to do this one or do I want to do what's the word? Which word should I do? Should I do soothe or should I do smooth? Let me see. I want to see which one works better with my example. Yeah, okay, let's go with my original plan here. SOOTHE and then CLOTH. Okay. Now this one, the ending sound here, we're talking about the sound, not the spelling, right? So this has an E at the end, but it's still the TH sound at the end. So forget about the last letter of the word. We're talking about the last sound of the word. Okay. And then, yeah, we could go with a lot of different words for the unvoiced one here. This is going to be voiced, and this is going to be not voiced, unvoiced. This is an unvoiced sound, and then we voice the rest of it. So just like with the last example, this part here is the only unvoiced part. And then for this one, we have a complicated sound with the CL, but it's unvoiced C sound or K sound. And then this one, law, is going to be voiced. And then we have to turn the voice off again for the end. So on, off, on. Okay? So here we go. Soothe. 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 Now, I added the at the end just so you can hear that ending sound. In sentences, it will sound just like this. Soothe, soothe, soothe. It won't have that slight rise at the end. And then this one, cloth. 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 Now, common issues with these at the end would be to replace the voiced TH sound with a Z sound, which would sound like Suze, Suze, which could be confused with the name Susie or something like that. And this one with an unvoiced S sound, which could sound like Kloss, 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 which is a common mistake as well, which is also incorrect. So be careful not to replace the voiced TH sound with a Z sound or a D sound, and be careful not to replace the TH sound, especially the unvoiced TH sound, with an S, an unvoiced S. Okay, so we've got soothe and we've got cloth. Now what we need to do, and this is what you do going forward, you take the sounds that are difficult for you. In this case, we're talking about TH, but you can use this more broadly for pronunciation practice. You find words that have those difficult sounds in the places that are difficult for you. Some people struggle with the TH sound only at the beginning of words, but not at the end. Some people struggle with all TH sounds. Some people struggle only with voiced TH sounds and not unvoiced TH sounds. Some people struggle with unvoiced TH sounds and not voiced TH sounds. Some people struggle with only the TH sound at the end of the word. Okay, find the ones that are hard for you and words with those. The simple way to practice is to just make a list, and as I said, start slowly and gradually increase in speed. Make sure that you record yourself so that you can then listen back and make corrections. The key to this one is self-awareness. Self-awareness means being able to hear the difference between the correct pronunciation, which you can find by listening to that word on any dictionary website, and your pronunciation. Is there any difference? If you can't hear the difference but it's not correct, you need to work on your self-awareness. If you can hear the difference, what do you need to change to make that sound accurately, perfectly? Maybe you can make it, but when you're speaking, when you're talking to someone, you don't make it correctly. You can do it, but you don't when you're speaking. Okay, well that's then not an issue with you being able to do it or not. That's an issue with habits. So there, you just need to practice it enough times. Practice it 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 times to build the habit. Then take it a little bit further. I would strongly suggest building either a little tongue twister or a simple sentence that has those words that you've been practicing, right? Because really when we speak, we're speaking words together. We're not speaking words individually, right? So practicing the sound is great, practicing the word better, practicing a whole sentence with those words even better, because then you have to think about intonation and stress and when they're blended and so on. So let's do that, right? Let's take a sentence. I'm gonna make a sentence. Okay, I'm gonna make up a sentence that includes these. And for the practice sentences, it's better to find the right practice sentence that helps you with the sounds. Don't worry about the meaning. It doesn't matter for this sort of thing. Not really anyway, okay? And this is, I think this is going to be a weird sentence. Don't worry about it. Can this cloth thing soothe Thor's mythic father? All right, so we have some of the words that we've been practicing there, in addition to Thor, and in addition to, which one did we not do? Cloth. I don't think we did cloth, right? Did I do cloth? Oh yeah, we did cloth. Which one? Oh, I think then it's just Thor. Which one did we not practice? Okay, whatever. Well, this is now my sentence that I want to use to practice, and I can think of it a little bit like a little tongue twister. Can this cloth thing soothe Thor's mythic father? Can this cloth thing soothe Thor's mythic father? Now, because it's in a sentence, we have to start thinking about blending things together. So, which things can blend together? Well, we have this sound, which is the TH that's voiced, and this sound, which is unvoiced, right? So we're gonna tie these together in sound, and all we do is turn off the voice when we reach Thor, but the tongue is not going to move. The tongue is going to stay in the exact same position between those words. One of the things that makes natural sounding English sound natural is that words are blended together. If you want to learn more about that, you can check out my pronunciation courses in more detail, much more practice there. And then here we have an unvoiced sound that's going to link to an unvoiced sound. Well, if they're both unvoiced TH sounds, then we can just combine them together. Imagine that they're one TH sound. But we have to make sure that we hold it a little bit so that it's clear they're different words. Okay. And then we have mythic father, which we don't need to connect in any special way. So very slowly, Can this, and by the way, I am continuing my voice here, side point. Can this cloth thing, so notice there, cloth thing, I'm leaving the TH sound in place between the two, but I don't say clothing. Because if I say clothing, then it sounds too much like clothing. And so what I'm doing is I'm leaving a single beat in between so that it's clear that these are two separate words, even though the sound is the same between them. Clothing, instead of clothing. Clothing. There's a little beat. Soothe Thors. So there, notice, same basic thing. Soothe Thors. So soothe, the voice is on, and then turn it off. Soothe, like that. Soothe Thor's mythic father. And I guess that should be a question, even though the sentence makes no sense. Can this cloth thing soothe Thor's mythic father? Can this cloth thing soothe Thor? Can this cloth thing soothe Thor's mythic father? Can this cloth thing soothe Thor's mythic father? Can this cloth thing soothe? It's getting hard as a tongue twister. This is a good tongue twister. Can this cloth thing soothe Thor's mythic father? There we go. That was a clean one. So practice, start slow, and then increase speed, but don't sacrifice quality. Make sure you get it right. You want to build good habits. That is the key. If you want to improve your pronunciation, the key is to develop self-awareness and then to use that self-awareness to help you feel the sound between what you're learning and what you're saying, the sounds you're making. Then the key is repetition, practice repetition. But practicing what's right for you and not what someone else is telling you to practice. That's where you have to build your own little exercises. Start with word lists, then put it into a sentence. Don't rely on someone else's sentences. Build your own, because that's really focused on what issues you have, what you need to work on. If you do that a lot, you're going to build good habits, good self-awareness, and you're going to find that sound get easier and easier. And even when you're speaking, not thinking about it, it just pops out correctly the first time. If you want to learn about this stuff in much more depth, feel free to check out my pronunciation courses. There are 3 main courses that I have on pronunciation. Probably the most popular one is Advanced American English Pronunciation, which is essentially 7.5, 8 hours of what we've been doing here. So feel free to check out those courses and let me know if you have any questions. Okay. All right. Rather intense topic. See if I missed any questions here. You want to remain anonymous? Fair enough. You have the right to do so. I always look ridiculous when pronouncing THE, TH sound. Hello from Ukraine. Hello, welcome. Is it better to learn from one's teacher or various teachers? I would say learn from different teachers. That's good. Learn from multiple teachers. Everyone's saying they look weird when they pronounce the TH sound or the SH. Difficult part is linking words that have the same or pretty similar sound as we just talked about. For example, the phrase, first things first. Yes, yes. And also there should be an apostrophe between the thing and the S there. Oscar says, what series do you recommend on Netflix? Well, I would say watch Sandman, because we're going to be talking about that next weekend. So watch Sandman in prep. English is the only language where you can take the chance of losing the tip of your tongue. I think that's I like that. Yep, that's probably true. Probably true. What does the idiom for crying out loud mean? Tofan says, for crying out loud is a simple, it's a simple phrase that's used to express usually some kind of strong emotion, most typically frustration. If something goes wrong, for crying out loud, it doesn't have to be connected to anything. It's super easy because you just say it. It's like saying, ah, shit, like that. It's sort of just like a noise that you make when you have a strong negative emotion. Usually it's not used for positive emotions. Usually it's frustration when something goes wrong, right? Something happens. Sorry, everyone, it's been canceled. Ah, for crying out loud, like that. Notice, though, my pronunciation, I'm not saying crying out loud. Crying out loud. Everybody who says it will say it as crying out loud instead of, oh, for crying out loud. Why? Because it is an expression of emotion and not an expression of articulation. Okay, 1 second. Wrath doesn't have the TH sound at the end. It's pronounced as rat. I hate to burst your bubble here, Alejandro, but in fact, that's not correct. Wrath has the TH sound, and it is pronounced as TH at the end. It is pronounced wrath, not rat. Because if it were pronounced rat, it would sound like R-A-T, and that would be far from our meaning that we want to express. As a rule to know if the syllable is voiced or not. Is there a rule to know if the syllable is voiced or not? I would say I don't think that there is generally a rule, but there are patterns. So you will notice common patterns where you'll see, oh, typically the voice sound is in this kind of thing, but not in another. So there are patterns, but I wouldn't say there are rules, because what happens is when you say this is a rule is that you'll find a billion exceptions and then say, well, what's the point of a rule if there are a billion exceptions? Yeah, good question. How many words in the most long tongue twister? I don't know. I recommend using Google to find that out. Thor's mythic father is the mythic father of Thor. Ooh, that's nice. I like this one. Thor's mythic father is the mythic father of Thor. Thor's mythic father is the mythic father of Thor. Thor's mythic father is the mythic father of Thor. Thor's mythic father is the mythic father of Thor. Thor's mythic father is the mythic father of Thor. Thor's mythic father is the mythic father of Thor. That's a great tongue twister. Well done. Well done. I like that. I like it. 3 times that thought. 3 times that thought came to mind. Oh, okay. I'm not sure about that one. Okay. All right. I think that might be it for the blackboard, at least. We'll see how it goes. Well, I want to get to I want to answer a couple of Reddit questions later. I also want to do a review of an app. One of the most popular language education apps in the world, maybe the most popular, I'm not sure, is Duolingo. Now, is Duolingo a good way to learn English? The only way to find out is to look at their method for introducing a language. So I want to do a bit of a review of Duolingo, but I want to do it in a kind of pure way to look at how they approach teaching a new language. And that's not possible for me to experience because English is my first language, right? So it's hard to do if I'm going to be learning English. So I'm going to try to learn Klingon, and we'll see how they approach the language. And if it makes sense, then we can say maybe they know how to introduce a new language. Then we can talk about whether or not that's the right thing for everybody, whether or not Duolingo is the right app for everyone to use. It is a very popular language learning app. So let's hop over to Duolingo on my phone here. And it's got some questions to start. Learn a language for free forever. That's a nice thing. Okay, now, from English, you can learn a lot of different languages. You're starting with English, right? Portuguese, Korean, Russian, Chinese, Japanese, Swedish, Norwegian, Turkish, Polish, Irish, Greek, Hebrew, Danish, Hindi, Czech. All interesting, right? Then you can learn other languages like English from other languages. You can learn English from other languages, for example, Spanish or Chinese or whatever your native language is. I think they have most of them. Again, why I want to look at a new language that I'm not familiar with is I want to see how they approach it, how they introduce the concepts of the language, right? So we're going to learn Klingon. Klingon is a fake language or a synthetic language which was created for Star Trek, a TV show that started in the 1960s and is still popular today. Klingon is one of the alien species in Star Trek. They're a warrior race, and it's got kind of a ha sound. And I don't know it. I know only one thing in Klingon, and that is kapla. Kapla. So we're going to learn a little Klingon just to see how they do. Let's start here. Continue. I'm going to turn this. I want to turn this on. Okay. Apparently there's no music, so we'll just live without it. How did you hear about Duolingo? I don't know. It's just kind of out there. So okay. How much Klingon do you know? They're asking for my level, basically. I'm going to go with, I know a few words at most. Why are you learning Klingon? Job opportunities, for sure. Set a goal. A few minutes each day is all you need to improve your Klingon. 10 minutes a day? Yeah, that works for me. So that I can get job opportunities. I like that they ask you to make commitments. I think that's pretty cool. Help us find your level. So before they teach you anything, they want to know how good you are to start with. That also makes sense. Doing a level check, learning English, learning Klingon for the first time. Yes, start from scratch. Let me start from the beginning. Oh, say what?
Chapla.
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 Chapla. Okay, means translate the sentence. I think kapla is like a success. Okay, there's a few questions in this intro thing. Translate this sentence.
Nuknech.
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 Nuknech. That's interesting. What does nuknech mean? Let's see. What do you want? Is my guess. Ah, I'm right. That was a total guess. Nuknech. I'm actually learning. This is great. I like that they play it without even asking you. They just play it.
Kapla. Ha.
Kapla. Ha. Ha. Success. Good. Oh. Oh, success. Let's go. Okay.
Nuknech. Ga.
Huh? Nuknech. That means, oh. The heck?
Nuknech. Ga.
Okay. Oh, okay. Continue. I'm gonna try to move through this pretty fast. Let's go. Yeah.
Toch.
Doch. What? Nope. So, it means so. Doch.
Kapla. Maj.
Kaplach. Maj. Success. Good. Hey. Select the correct translation. Let's go. That's let's go is hach. So they're teaching and evaluating at the same time. I like that I don't know these things, but I'm kind of learning them as I go. So if you want to say let's go, hach in Klingon.
Maj.
Maj. Maj is good. Maj. Maj. Success. Good. That would be kaplach. Maj. Yeah, I feel I'm getting better. Select the correct translation. Maj. Yeah. 5 in a row. Hey. A cake for 5 in a row. Cake? Where? Select the correct translation. It's toch. Nice. 6 in a row. Doing good on the evaluation. What do you want? Let's go. Nukbon. I think it's got to be this one, right? No. How do you say that one? Nope. I forget how to pronounce that one. I like that they also are using different types of questions. It's not just translate this, translate this, translate this. They're giving you the pronunciation, but sometimes not. Sometimes focusing on meaning. Sometimes asking you to phonetically identify the sounds by looking at the spelling. So they're forcing you to access all of the different pieces of language. The listening part, you have to hear it, but then you have to look at the spelling to understand the sound and repeat it. And then you have to associate that with meaning, but sometimes they take away the sound and ask you to associate the meaning and the phonetic spelling. Sometimes they associate the meaning, like this one, with the phonetic spelling. So what do you want? Would be this one. This one. Yeah. But again, now I'm forgetting the sounds, so hopefully they'll bring back the sounds pretty soon. So let's go. Would be tochach. Yeah. I'm a Klingon master. Let's correct the exercises you missed.
Kapla.
Kapla. Ha. Now I know that though. Kapla and ha is let's go. I like it. I love the interface of this, the sort of, it's got a light, fun feeling. You could do it on the bus. I like the variety. Some apps that I've tried, as soon as you start doing it, you just get bored immediately because it's just the same thing. Quiz, 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 quiz. And this is interesting variety, and the design style is cool, and the sounds are good. Okay, so let's hopefully get into a lesson.
Toch.
Toch. Oh, I still have one more thing to correct. Toch is so, right? Yeah. Nice. Toch. Lesson complete. 14 XP earned, score 88. I'll take it. Not bad. 1 day streak. It's good to also reinforce repetition, getting in the habit of it. They're trying to get you to not just do it once, but keep coming back, keep practicing, keep trying, commit to a schedule. So today's Friday, practicing daily grows your streak, but skipping a day resets it. Oh no. So they're trying to kind of push you to want to come back the next day to complete that, because then I won't have my streak. Okay, cool. Can you make it to 21 days? Learners that reach a streak of 21 days are 6 times more likely to complete their course. I like that. I can do it. I can do it. All right. They're using a lot of video game language here too. Equip is a video game thing, feels like Fortnite or something like that. Create a profile to save your progress and continue learning for free. I'm going to do that later. Okay, so boot camp is the evaluation, and now I'm actually in the app. It's got a little flag to tell me what I'm learning. That's the Klingon flag, the Klingon Federation, I think. No, Klingon Empire. Duh. Federation. Klingon Empire, idiot. Okay, they give you daily quests. That seems cool. They let you add friends. XP allows you to unlock daily quests. After, for example, I complete 8 hours, I think I will get the opportunity to unlock more quests. Badges. I have not earned a badge yet. Monthly challenges unlock soon. Okay, maybe, I don't know what that is exactly. Not sure how badges work. Okay, I can create a profile, announcements, shows my badges. I'm not going to sign in right now. I want to just take a look at the first actual lesson to see what it's like and see if it's different than the kind of base level evaluation. Lesson 0 of 6, or level 0 of 6, lesson 1 to 4. So that tells you that from the very beginning how much you have to do, which I like. Start plus 10 XP. Oh, okay, so it's kind of more of the same.
Yaj.
Yaj. Oh, so Yaj is like comprehension, understanding.
Yaj.
Got it. Yaj. So if you say something and I get it, it's Yaj. Yaj. Yaj.
Yaj.
Yaj. So if you click on the word,
Yaj.
they give you the hint. You have to be careful to click on the sound
Yaj.
and not reveal the word, because if you hold
Yaj.
longer on it, then it shows the meaning, and then this would be fairly obvious. Oh, huh? I thought it just understands. Okay, I'm confused.
Knob. Maj.
Knob, Maj. Wait, so what is
Knob.
she plans, he plans,
Maj.
and then Maj is good. So Knob Maj would be a sentence. She plans good. Yeah, okay. I'll do one more of these. I'm not going to go through all of them. It's kind of addicting. It's kind of fun.
At.
Ot.
Oat.
Oat.
Oot.
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 Et.
Et.
At.
Ot. Sounds?
Oat.
Oat.
At.
Ot.
Oat. Oat.
Okay.
At. At.
Okay, so this is the right one. Nice.
Van.
Little pronunciation mixed in. So I guess the way you do it is you hold down
Van.
and then read the meaning. She salutes, he salutes. And then the
Maj.
second one, good. So this would be she salutes, good. Oh, okay, pretty cool. All right. Well, I really like that. I think without looking at what it's like to learn English this way, I can feel what it's like to approach the language for the first time. Now, what does that mean for someone who's understanding what I'm saying now? I think for review, it's probably good, especially getting into the higher levels to make sure you haven't missed anything. A fun way to practice some new words, especially getting into the higher levels, to make sure you haven't missed 100 important vocabulary words or however many it is, okay. But if you say all of my English practice is going to be in Duolingo, which is a great app, it's a very cool app, I would say no. Once you get up to a certain level, it becomes much more important to practice speaking, to build habits, have conversations, practice writing, get ready for a big exam like the IELTS or TOEFL, use English in the workplace. So it's really, we're talking about two very different things. One being, hey, here are the building blocks of the language. Here's how you say sounds. Here's how you pronounce a whole sentence. Here's how you use this word. Here's a new word. And the other is actually getting out there and using it and doing it. So it's not like it's one or the other. It's more like, where are you right now with your English? Me, right now, with my Klingon, I need this. I'm not able to go into a very big, important Klingon war meeting and make a rousing Klingon speech to inspire my comrades to, slaughter the Andorans. I can't do it. But if I use this, I get into the habit and I get to the point where I have the tools I need, then I can start to do that. But once I'm at that level, maybe I don't need this as much. Then I actually go out there and start trying to express myself, start having conversations, start getting in Klingon fights and rousing the troops, right? So you just have to know where you are and what you need at the stage. For what it is, I think Duolingo is probably the best at what it does. It's super fun. It's very addicting. It's very playful. It's got a great amount of variety, and I think it's a very, very cool app. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to let me know. If you haven't already done so, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And of course, if you want to learn a little bit more seriously and start mastering English pronunciation, grammar, and much, much more, feel free to check out my full courses in links in the description. Okay. I know that ran a bit long, but it's kind of fun. I kind of like it. What is a streak? So a streak is like you do something several times in a row and you feel like you can't lose once you do that, I'm on a streak of winning at poker. I'm on a hot streak. A hot streak means really I'm really good, or you're in a casino and you keep winning and winning and winning. I've got a streak going. So it's consecutive. There's nothing missing. There are no gaps. There are no broken places. I'm on a hot streak, sometimes people say. If it's a cold streak, then it's the opposite. I'm on a bit of a cold streak at the moment. You're losing, you're losing, you're losing. Winning, hot streak. If you say just streak, they're on a 5-game winning streak. Simply means they have won 5 games in a row. The Chicago Bulls are on a 5-game winning streak. They've won 5 games in a row. Individuals might say, though, hot streak and cold streak. Really, it's just about things being consecutive, usually emphasizing good things in a row that you've done without stopping. And for something like a habit, often they use streak as a way to say, hey, you checked in today, hey, you checked in the next day. You have a streak going to get you into the habit and prevent you from quitting or not using the app anymore. Anyway, there's also the Lingaolio app, very similar to Duolingo. I like it even more. I'm just going to search it if that's okay, because I'm curious. Lingualeo. Okay, cool. Lingo, learn English with, how do you even say that? Lingualeo. I have to honestly say, what a weird name for an app, but I'm going to check it out. I'd like to do a review on that. Do you guys like me to do reviews of apps? I really like to do it. It's fun. I kind of enjoy doing app reviews because I get to play around and experience different UIs and things like that. But yeah, let me know. I really like it. One a type that I hate, it'll be an immediate turnoff, is as soon as you get on, you can't even try it. There's a paywall. You have to pay $14.99 to try it. Give me a break. A much better I think strategy is to get people into it and then offer options for people to buy things. I think Duolingo offers that. I didn't even see any paywall related thing when we were looking through that. I didn't see any payments. I didn't see any places where they were asking me to pay for anything. So I'm not sure how they're making money. I'm assuming they have some DLCs or in-app purchases somewhere, but I'm not sure. It's like Fortnite. They make a lot of money. Epic Games makes a lot of money with Fortnite. I've recently started playing Fortnite. It's so fun. It's very addicting. It's a problem for me. It's becoming a problem. Fortnite, they don't push it too hard. The monetization of Fortnite it's cool to have skins and to get the season pass and buy stickers and stuff. It's cool, but you don't have to, and you can enjoy the game if you don't, right? So okay, I want to play as some character that I like. Awesome, you can do that, and you can pay for that. But if you don't want to, then you get your standard character, and it's not like you don't get useful guns if you're playing Fortnite and you haven't paid. The guns are the same for everybody. So that's, I think, a good way to do it. A good way to balance it is to keep it fun no matter what, but then make sure you have a sort of revenue strategy in place, especially with in-app purchases. And that tends to work very well. Alejandro is right that P-O-O-R and P-O-U-R have the exact same pronunciation. They're exactly the same, 100%. All right. People are saying, BB, stop trolling. BB, stop trolling. Bad BB. I don't think BB's trolling. I think BB is really like this. I think this is just the way that BB is. So this is the real BB. Chama says Thor is a Viking god, son of Odin. Yep, absolutely. All right. BB, are you causing problems? Be careful, BB. Well, okay. Maybe I can give a little feedback here. People are picking up on something that has been obvious to me for a while. You sound like a troll a little bit. It sounds like that because you're being a little inflexible with it doesn't sound like you're interacting. It sounds like you have a very small view of what you think this should be. And if it's not that, it's kind of upsetting you. And other people seem to be pointing out that you're not really interacting with other people in the chat. So the best, I think, my opinion, the chat is a nice, cool, interactive place where you can kind of listen to what other people are saying, be flexible, be cool, right? That leads to more meaningful interactions. And it's just a personal recommendation. But my suggestion is be cool. Better to be cool than not cool. BB says, I don't do anything. I ask you questions to learn, and I never troll or kidding and never interact with others. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Okay, I mean, this is just feedback for you, BB. I'm not the only one noticing it here. Okay, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So, yeah. All right, let's see if I missed any other questions. Raphael, English is the only language you have to bite your tongue off. Oscar, how can we know which is voiced and which is not? Yeah, that's a good question. The only way to know is to listen to the word. You have to hear it to know. So, I mean, the only way to really know. So just have an app, a dictionary app, or some kind of app where you can just click on it and hear it 5 times, this, or whatever the word is, and say it a few times, and you just have to remember it, which sucks, but that's kind of how it is. Oh, right. Vitali's question. Thank you for asking that again. I'm going to answer this one for sure. Thank you for pulling that up again. I wanted to talk about that because that's a good one. Also, one other small point, BB, about, for example, native English speakers. Everybody's different, right? Like, let's say native English speakers. There are ones who are good at tongue twisters and not good at tongue twisters. There are smart ones and stupid ones and ugly ones and thin ones and fat ones and old ones and young ones and every possible thing that you can add or describe them as, right? So I can't answer such a general question. Some native English speakers may be good at tongue twisters. Some will not be good at tongue twisters. It's just like humans. Humans are this way. Okay. What the heck is up with my focus? What does no strings attached mean? Says Vitali. So this is used in a couple of different ways. One is a kind of romantic one, and one is not. They're similar in meaning, but it's just that they have these slightly different uses, right? So if somebody offers you something, your natural question, especially if it's something valuable, your natural question might be, okay, what do you want back? What do you want in return? You want money? You want a favor? Okay. And the question that we ask is, if something seems to be really good and we didn't have to give anything in return, we'll say, what's the catch? What's the catch means, what's the thing you're going to tell me that is going to make me go, oh, okay, that's what you want, right? For example, if you're out on the street in Times Square, New York City, you might see someone hand you a CD, music CD, give it to you. Or sometimes you see a person dressed in a monk's outfit. This is terrible. Dressed in a monk's outfit, handing out these bracelets or coins or something that is not super valuable, but it is a free thing they're giving away. Well, why are they giving me a free thing? They're going to then ask you for money. It's a trick. They're kind of scamming you. They give you the CD. They say, yeah, usually people give $10 for this. So did you give it to me or not? Then you might give it back and say, I don't want it. Or they might pressure you into giving that money. And often they do, because people are in Times Square and they're spending freely and they don't want to say no. So they're kind of forced into it. The question they might ask is, what's the catch? Or if they say, here's a CD, no strings attached, then, oh, there's no strings attached. There's no obligation. There's no connection. There's no thing that you're expecting of me. Just a free CD. Now, that rarely happens. There are usually strings attached. That means some kind of connection, an obligation, a thing I owe, a thing I need to do in order to get it, right? In the case of the people in Times Square, there are strings attached. What's the catch? Oh, most people give $10. Oh, actually, if you want to be in the good graces of blah, 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 if I'm the monk person, right, you will donate this amount of money in order to please the blah, 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 whatever. They have a little speech they do, and then you feel guilty, so you give them that. Or if you're smart, you just say, you're bad, and you walk away, which is what I do. So what's the catch? And having strings attached. No strings attached generally, I think, comes from puppetry, right? You have the wooden things in your hands, strings, and then a little doll or armature that's connected to the strings that moved. They move when you move the strings, right? If you have strings attached, that means when the string goes up, this goes up. or I move because the strings move. And so we have that sense of influence, right? A politician might say, I have no strings attached to me, as though I'm a puppet, I'm my own man, I'm a real boy, and I don't have powerful influences behind me telling me how to vote for things, right? There are no strings attached to me. I'm not a puppet of giant corporations, okay? However you feel about that. Now, then there's this meaning of a no strings attached relationship. This is more about commitment. And this is I don't know if it's a trend or just something people have. They have maybe a one-night stand or an intimate encounter or even an ongoing thing that they might call a fling, right? But if it has no strings attached, then they can separate at any moment. They're not actually dating. It's probably more of a just hangout thing, having company sometimes, being with someone, right? An intimate partner or a sexual thing, perhaps. But there's no real relationship. There's no real commitment, and so there are no strings attached. You'll hear people use that phrasing. The overall meaning, the overall usage is going to be about this sense of obligation, duty, or control over something. And again, used in the money situation, the politics situation, a kind of deal situation, or the relationship one. I often think of it in terms of playing a game. Play Fortnite. It's free. Why would they make such a great game that's free? What's the catch? Well, whether you like it or not, the catch is that there are in-app purchases that you can make. Things that you can purchase inside the game. Can. Okay, well, that's not such a bad catch. If they say it's free, no strings attached, then everything is free. Then I'm suspicious of it. So maybe I want some strings to be attached in that sort of situation because I want them to be able to pay their employees to keep updating the game, right? So it's not always a bad thing. It's more about this connection between some entity and you, or something that has influence and another person, or a person who could be influenced by that. Hopefully that's clear. Hopefully it makes sense. And if you have any other questions, let me know. Chama says, Luke, would you mind talking about the ain't contraction? Yeah, sure. Ain't really is just a slang version of isn't, right? And that one, unlike the one I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were here, Chama, before I was talking about gonna, gotta, wanna. Those gonna, gotta, wanna ones, and even I'ma, feels like it's just spoken English. I think everybody uses gonna. Everyone says gonna. We're gonna go. Everyone says it. It's not like if you say it, that makes you sound less well-educated or something like that. I don't think so. Ain't, though, maybe a little bit. It is a spoken thing, definitely. But I don't think it's on the same level of commonness as gonna, wanna, gotta. When I hear ain't, I think redneck. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Less educated, less well-educated. I'm from Ohio. Lot of, not everybody, but a lot of farmers, and that's not a bad thing. Of course, farmers are great, but the level of education in some areas is lower. People kind of talk like this, and they say it ain't good and it ain't bad. I think that sounds like less well-educated English, in my opinion, when I hear ain't. So that's just me. So it's not that you can't say it, but I usually don't say it ain't good. It ain't good unless I want to emphasize it, and it's very intentional. If I want to make a point with that, it's not that you shouldn't say it, it's just that you have to know why you're saying it, right? If I want to emphasize the not goodness of this, and I want to take on that sort of sound for whatever reason, I'll say that ain't good. Maybe I want to sound like that version of a redneck in my head in order to make some kind of point, right? So, teacher, can you give us some examples of I'm willing? Might be able to get to that. It's getting a little late, though. I'm going to have to go pretty soon. Oh, there are other things I wanted to talk about, too. At least we covered the Klingon, the, and the I'm gonna, gotta. BB says, why don't you stick to one topic, Luke? I can't wrap my head around. Not my problem. Why? Because it would be boring to me. I don't want to get bored. It would be boring to stay on one topic for a very long period of time. I don't know why. Okay. Well, a couple things. Number one, next Wednesday, I will be doing a conversation about Sandman with my good pal Pablo from Argentina. He's very cool, and we're going to be talking about the Netflix series Sandman. So, watch it before then, and it'd be great to have you as part of the discussion. That's going to be a very different type of thing. It's not going to be an English lesson. It's just going to be a conversation that's happening live. So, that'll be a new thing. We're trying it out. But then on Friday, again, we'll be doing a regular style English lesson with different topics. Probably not one. Sorry, BB. If you guys haven't already done so, I would appreciate hitting the like button and subscribe. Very important. Also, feel free to check out the courses. You can get a free course on the website, or if you want to get serious, you can check out the yearly membership. That's a great option, and there are other course links there as well. I did tease in the title that I was gonna do a quick reveal. So just to satisfy the title and not be clickbait, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to show you what's behind the green screen. All right. An empty room. Oh, that's loud. So, I have been in the process for the last several months of kind of decorating my house. I recently moved into a new home, which I know many of you may know already, but it's a process. Indoor, outside, less outside, more indoor, especially decoration. The living room, the kitchen, the dining room, the bedrooms, all of that stuff. The last thing to be decorated will be this room. So I'm loving it. When I moved out of my apartment in New York City, I had realized I had so much junk that I didn't even use and didn't need, and I had an epiphany, a moment of realization. I thought, why am I like this? Why do I have so much shit that I don't want? And I threw away 90% of it. 98% of my clothes I threw away. And I felt so light and clean. And I thought, wow, this is great. Why do I need things, stupid stuff I don't want? So besides this 35-pound dictionary, I try not to buy that much stuff anymore. Buying stuff for decoration for the rest of the house. But I'm thinking maybe for a good while to keep this room just empty. This is my my studio for now, but I'm sure eventually I want to get a bit of a set going in here, a physical set. I think that'd be pretty cool, but I'm in no rush, and I think I'll wait until I can find the absolute perfect thing instead of just buying some junk. So there's the room. Thanks for joining, everybody. I appreciate it. If I didn't get to your question, I apologize. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And I will see you, hopefully, next Wednesday. Bye, everybody.